Shortly after going on a purely carnivorous diet, I noticed such an improvement in performance and strength. Now in my 50s, I'm able to, break world records and do things that, a lot of people in their 20s can't do. There are literally thousands of people that are doing this now. Their allergies went away, their arthritis goes away, their gastrointestinal issues go away. The evidence indicates that humans evolved eating a highly carnivorous diet prior to agriculture, and we look at the fossil records. They were stronger, they had thicker bones, they even had larger brains. The modern evolution of food is getting farther and farther away from what we were actually designed to eat. When you separate out all this other processed food, French fries and Cokes, from the actual meat itself, you find that the meat is not causing the problem, it's the other stuff. The number one killer of vegans and vegetarians is heart disease too. It's kind of nice to sort of be aging backwards, basically.
That was the trailer for Shawn Baker's upcoming film. If you don't know Shawn Baker, he's an all-meat dieter, he's an ex-doctor. We did a video on him a couple of months ago, and this time he's back with some more outrageous statements. Let's get right into the video.
Including meat in the diet is an essential part of the diet. If you care about the future of your children, if you don't want them to be sent to a school where they don't have the option to eat nourishing food like meat in the diet, then you need to be active. You need to be aggressive. The time is now. Passivity is over. Meat is a health food. We need it in the diet. It needs to stay in the human diet. If we get it taken away from us, it will only result in suffering of people.
Aside from these obviously faulty health claims, I find it ironic that he thinks he himself is really healthy when he's admitted to having an LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol of 150 milligrams per deciliter, which according to not only medical professionals in the mainstream, but also Shawn Baker's paleo friends such as Lauren Cordain is over twice what it should be. Shawn Baker's fasting glucose was also 127, which is considered diabetic, and his testosterone levels were pretty bad too.
Testosterone was 237. The free testosterone was 5.5. Am I reading that correct?
So that was from the Rob Wolf podcast. And yes, Rob Wolf, you most certainly read that correct. These testosterone numbers are extremely low. And as covered by Ryan from the YouTube channel Happy Healthy Vegan, these results are low even for a 100-year-old man. But despite this, for some inexplicable reason, Shawn Baker doesn't care about his blood test results and only cares about how much he can lift.
Let's put up a video from me from yesterday. Deadlifting 505 pounds for 11 reps. Let's just watch this real quick. So when we talk about clinical function, that's what counts. I don't really have that much curiosity personally.
About your blood work?
Not
I would think
really.
a radical change in your diet where you're just consuming only meat. I would want to see what kind of results I'm getting.
This kind of attitude helps me understand a little bit more about why he had his medical license revoked last year for failure to report adverse action taken by healthcare entity and incompetence to practice as a licensee. But let's just pretend Shawn Baker's right and that outright strength is a really good measure of clinical function. Well, if you're watching this, Mr. Shawn Baker, check out this little exclusive preview from The Game Changers, an upcoming documentary executively produced by James Cameron.
Someone asked me, how could you get as strong as an ox without eating any meat? And my answer was, have you ever seen an ox eating meat?
We're going to play the trailer to that documentary in a little bit, but first up, let's get back to the other faulty claims he makes, this time surrounding meat and the environment.
We need to get people on that will speak up about the environment. We'll be out there that will dispel some of the myths that are going on, because right now it's being accepted as absolute truth when it clearly is not that simple.
It's not as simple as animal agriculture is destroying the planet and nothing else is, but animal agriculture is the leading cause, the number one cause of climate change, and an increasing number of people are accepting this.
The information is out there. The United Nations has stated that to avoid the worst effects of climate change, the world needs to shift to a plant-based diet. That's not a vegan activist telling you that. That's not a vegan organization. That's not vegan propaganda. That is the United Nations making a very stark and honest comment to people. So if you do not change the way that you live, and it is such a simple change, we will be the ones to feel the consequences.
We need those animals on the planet. They play a unique role in the ecology of the planet. They need to be there. Do we need to improve how that's done? Yes, we do. But we cannot get away with them. We cannot, take them completely off the menu.
There's a couple of problems with this argument. Firstly, most animals that we eat are factory farmed, which is by all accounts really, really bad for the environment. Secondly, we don't have the space to feed our rapidly growing population strictly on grass-fed, free-range animal flesh, even if the methane emissions from these animals is not a problem, which it isn't, it's a huge problem. And thirdly, Baker is implying that we need to eat these animals in order to coexist with them, which simply does not make any sense. And on top of all of this, he consistently argues that vegans are the ones who twist the truth, when advocates like him are notorious for referencing industry-funded studies.
It's like talking to a cow. You know, they just, there's nothing you can say that'll change their mind because they're mindless drones. They've been, you know, they've been basically brainwashed to believe some really, really poor evidence in science about health for sure, about the environment as well. They'll sit there and quote studies that are extremely one-sided. They don't tell all the facts.
We've played quite a few of his clips on YouTube, but he's also been saying some outrageous things on Instagram. I found this quote on one of our articles by Maria, the head of written content at Plant-Based News. Vegans are quote-unquote worthless sacks of shit. So here he's basically resorted to ad hominem attacks, just as he did on YouTube a little while ago.
Okay, there's one guy, vegan guy. I don't know what's wrong with him. He looks real pasty and sickly. His name's like Mick or Mike Mick. I'm not sure. I'll just call him Prick the Vegan, and because he's a small guy, we'll call him Little Prick the Vegan.
Anyway, back to his Instagram account where he's also said vegans are winning. He's right. Veganism is gaining popularity from the fact that, for example, it seems to me an entire generation is shifting towards plant-based milk, to the rising popularity of plant-based meat substitutes that are being stocked in the meat aisle in some supermarkets, as well as the celebrities promoting veganism and the meat taxes that governments around the world are starting to consider.
Farm Animal Investment Risk and Return Initiative says that a tax on meat is inevitable.
This group represents 57 different funds, which equates to about $2.3 trillion. So it's we're not talking about PETA here or some lobby group. This is a influential group.
He also acknowledges the companies like WeWork that have just banned meat.
You know, there are companies that are talking about, you know, not paying for meat for their employees, trying to encourage them to go plant-based.
Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know down below what you think of Shawn Baker's latest statements, and just want to give a couple of shout outs. Firstly to Michael Dearborn from the YouTube channel Mike the Vegan, and Ryan and Angie and Ryan from the YouTube channel Happy Healthy Vegan, who also did videos on this topic and inspired me to make this video. I'll link their channels, their respective channels down below. And Mr. Shawn Baker, if you're watching this, could you please check out the upcoming documentary, The Game Changers? It's coming out really, really soon. And I'd love you to do a video review. In case you haven't seen it, let's end this video with the trailer to that documentary. Hope you enjoy.
I was really expecting it to end my career.
When I made the transition, I wasn't sure if I was going to survive.
What we eat has a major impact on our health in every way we can measure. Today's blood and yesterday's blood.
Damn.
To think that these elite fighting machines were eating mainly plants went against everything I'd been taught about nutrition.
There's no one that can relate to that better than I do, because I've lived in that world.
I'm in it just to rewrite history, cause I'm in the mood to label us the leaders of the new school. This ain't for the radio, can't find this on YouTube. This the type of killing that these critics say you